Welcome to OurSport. I'm Larry. I'm your host. John, recorder and editor, is with me on this episode entirely. We're going to have a joint show. We are doing our 2019 All-America team. And John and I came up with separate teams independent of each other, and we're both going to discuss who we have. So we just wanted to, we have no idea who the other one's going to say, though. Well, we have an idea what some of the players are going to be.
Yeah, some are pretty self-explanatory.
Right. So we're going to start with the offense. Let's start with the quarterback.
Let's explain what we're doing at each position.
Go
so
ahead.
it's 3 wide receivers, 2 halfbacks,
Yes.
a player at each offensive line, 1 tight end. Defense, it's 2 edge players.
Correct.
Edge is 1 position, like D-end or outside linebacker.
Like a 3-4 outside backer, like Wisconsin would use.
3 middle linebackers, up backers, 2 defensive tackles, 3 corners, 2 safeties.
3 corners?
3 corners? I had 3 corners.
Fine, I'll go with 3. Okay.
Fair
And the
enough.
backers, the linebackers are just like, they're not necessarily middle, but they're like off-ball backers.
Yeah.
Basically the ones who aren't edge rushers.
Not
Okay.
Khalil Mack.
Not Khalil Max. Okay. So, let's start with quarterback.
I have the wide receiver from Kentucky. Came in and played a great game. You would not believe the quarterbacking he did.
That's right.
It's Joe Burrow.
That's Joe Burrow. This is a no-brainer. I saw Strell poll that at 51 Heisman voters, he's getting all 51 of the votes. As of this recording, we're doing it before the Heisman voting. We expect him to win this in a landslide, maybe the biggest of all landslide victories.
And there are other great quarterbacks.
Oh, it's a great
It's
group of
not like
quarterbacks. It's crazy.
Like Fields would make this team on a lot of other years. Hurts would make this team on a lot of other years. It's just he's better than everyone.
You didn't even mention Sunshine. We didn't mention Sunshine. Trevor Lawrence.
Oh,
He's like almost an afterthought. That's how deep this quarterback class is.
it's because he had a faulty first 5 games, so he
Yeah,
kind of
that's gone. He's
Yeah.
back.
No,
Okay. Joe Burrow, both of ours, quarterback from LSU, is our All-American quarterback. Our 2 running backs. You want me to go first? How do we...
See, there are 3 really good running backs that I think we're picking from,
Yeah.
and there are 2 spots.
Right.
So, and we're doing it in order. Like, there's a guy that's like your first team and then your second team.
No, I mean
Or
the
is it
first
just like-
first team has 2 running backs.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I
A dream
have
backfield, the split carries.
Jonathan Taylor from Wisconsin and J.K. Dobbins from Ohio State.
Yeah, he's always been ahead of the curve on Dobbins. I didn't like him as much at first. I thought he was a good back. Even back to his freshman year, you always liked him. You're
when
right
he was
about him.
splitting time with Weber because he seemed a lot more dynamic. He seemed like every time
Right.
he got his hands on the ball, he was making plays with it. And I always thought he was a good halfback.
I just thought he was a midget. I mean, I just saw him look short. But no,
Mark Ingram's short.
he's right. He's an excellent back. And it was hard for me to leave him off this list. I have Jonathan Taylor, as you do, 6,000 career yards in 3 years. That's incredible production. And so many traits you want. The breakaway speed, the vision. He's just, if he could just stop fumbling, he'd be one of the greatest backs. Not be already one of the greatest backs of all time.
Yeah.
And I have Chuba Hubbard from Oklahoma State. That was your
It
other
was
back.
hard for me to leave him off the list. Leads the country in rushing
Yeah.
right now. He's a really good back.
And he did
fast.
get like 300 yards against some toe tag, roast beef tech, you know.
But you can't take that away from him. He did get those 300 yards.
Even if you take it off, he still has 1,600 yards. And he's just explosive. I think he leads the country in every explosive play.
Yeah.
10-yard plays, 20-yard plays, just an explosive player. My goodness, he's got a system. It does help him. But by himself, he's really good.
Yeah.
All right, the wide receiver position. We're going to have 3 of these. You go ahead with your 3.
So, my first wide receiver is CeeDee Lamb from Oklahoma. Every time he gets his hands on the ball, he's doing something with it. They lost to Kansas State, but at the end of that game, they were trying to come back. They were down by 3 scores, and they needed a quick play. They needed a quick touchdown. They had 75 yards, full field. It was just, they hit a low bubble screen to him, and he made 8 guys miss. He went through the entire Kansas State defense.
Yeah, he's great.
He showed out against Baylor. He's just all around great, and there are other good receivers at Oklahoma. There aren't other dominant receivers at Oklahoma. The guys at Alabama, the guys at Clemson, the guys at LSU, they're great, but they don't receive any special attention. They don't have any safeties going over top of them, no double teams for them really, because if you do that, you're dead to everyone else, right? If you put special attention to Judy, Ruggs is going to kill you.
Correct.
Right? If you do special attention to Higgins, Ross is going to kill
Lamb's
you.
getting a lot of attention. He's still producing. He's by
And
far
he's
the main
still
weapon. That's right.
doing what everyone else is doing.
I have CD Lamb also. He kind of said it all. All right, that's one of my three. We're gonna have some similarities on this for sure because some guys are so obvious. Joe Burrow and Lamb is a fantastic receiver.
Yeah.
Who's your second guy?
Second guy, I have Jerry Jeudy. He's produced really well this year. He's done it all. A great wide receiver, great player. Even with other guys helping him out, he's showed out in big games against LSU. He caught at least one touchdown, maybe two. I can't think of off the top of my head, but very good wide receiver, very productive. Not like super fast or super big or traitsy, but he's just a great player. He's just a great football player.
Right, kind of reminds me of Torrey Holt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, polished, and I do not have Jerry Jeudy on my team, believe it or not. Yeah. Okay. Who's your other guy?
My third guy is Jamar Chase from LSU. Leads the nation in receiving yards right now. He's been great all year. Another one of these guys that LSU's just loaded up. He has Joe Burrow throwing to him, but he's a great wide receiver. Just very, very talented.
I have Chase. Okay, so I have him as well, and I think he has like 18 touchdowns. Leads the country. I mean, they've got the thing about Chase is they have other options on that team. Not only at receiver, they're one of the few teams that really use a tight end well. Thaddeus Moss from them. Mm-hmm. That little back out of the backfield, he can catch passes too. And this guy is still like the main focus of their passing offense. I love Jamar Chase. He is great. My third guy, you're going to be surprised. I have Isaiah Hodgins from Oregon State.
Yeah.
This guy's kind of a prototype. He plays in an NFL system. He's just really productive, kind of flying under the radar. And I just love whenever I see him play. This dude is a really good player. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
All right. Who's your tight end?
My tight end is Hunter Bryant from Washington. He has 16 yards per catch right now at tight end.
Yeah.
That is unheard of. He's like top 50 in receiving yards. He has like over 900 receiving yards. Just a lot of production. A lot of production from the tight end position.
Okay. I'm going to pick a different Bryant. I'm going to pick Harrison Bryant out of Florida Atlantic.
Oh, wow.
This dude is he's kind of a little more athletic, not one of these big prototype. Like I kind of like Cole Clement from Notre Dame too. And that dude's more prototype, but he has 1,000 receiving yards. That's a lot for a tight end. Tight ends do not get 1,000 receiving yards very often. And every time you see him, he's an athletic kid, makes a lot of plays. I really like him.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good pick, though. What your other Bryant? Right. All right, the offensive line. There's some good ones this year. Our two tackles. You go first.
I have Penei Sewell. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong.
Yeah,
I'm going to say I am.
Him, yeah.
From Oregon. Really, really athletic. He's redshirt freshman.
Sophomore.
Sophomore.
He played right away as a true freshman.
Very young guy, but he's super athletic. They did a terrible play, but they did a throwback pass to him against Utah, and he cracked someone's ankles. He juked out a defender at 315 pounds.
Right.
And you're watching it, and he got tackled immediately, but it's still like he's just very, very athletic and super talented.
He doesn't look like a tackle. He doesn't look like offensive linemen. 95% of them have the look, kind of the big belly, they're lumbering and all that. And and you can still have that and not look the way he looks, which is light on his feet. He looks light on his feet. He's lean. He's athletic. And, well, yeah, I agree with that. I also had him on my first team. Who's your other tackle?
My other tackle is Andrew Thomas from Georgia.
I got him. And, man, the minute he got there, he showed out. He was an All-America last year. He's got 2 years of this. He plays in that conference against that competition, and they got a bunch of good offensive linemen in Georgia. Andrew Thomas he's going to be a first-round pick when he comes out, and probably a top 5 pick, top 10 pick, prototype left tackle. Mm-hmm. Okay, guards.
I know this is really lame.
Yeah.
Because I had a tackle from Oregon.
Shane Lemieux. You're gonna have Shane Lemieux.
A tackle from Georgia.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna have a guard from Oregon and a guard from Georgia because these offensive lines are so good.
They are.
I'm serious, they are. Another team, after doing some research, that had a surprisingly good offensive line is UCF for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why. They have a good offensive line.
They do.
Just wanted to mention that. I don't have anyone on here from them. Shane Lemieux from Oregon,
Lemieux.
as you said.
Right.
Lemieux,
Yeah.
sorry. And then Solomon Kindley from Georgia.
That's a big boy.
He had a leg
big boy.
injury late this year. So a lot of times when a guy gets injured, he's not in the team. But it was like very, very late. He missed like one game, half a game. But he was very, very productive all year. Or not productive at the offensive line spot, but he's a good guard.
I had Lemieux as well. I have John Simpson out of Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
Multi-year starter. Really, it's kind of shocking when we're going to look back on, I bet, how few Clemson players on this All-American team.
Yeah.
I thought about putting T. Higgins at receiver. Simpson's
a wide receiver.
Simpson's experienced player, gritty, tough, great player on a Clemson offensive line. You were saying?
Yeah. No? I was just about to say, it's like quarterbacks. T. Higgins would probably make a starting wide receiver All-American team
in
any
a normal
other year,
right.
But this year. But because there's so many guys, like 6'4" wide receivers with 4.4 speed, just don't have a place.
Yeah, that's what it is. And on a little side note, their draft projections already. We talked about this. What a great receiver class this is. We talked about this early in the year. We're right, because they're saying there might be 8 first-round receivers. The scouts call it the greatest receiver class of all time. We should have had 4 receivers this year.
Yeah.
Okay. Your center?
I had Tyler Bidaz from Wisconsin.
He's a good one.
Yeah, he's projected to go like first round as an offensive lineman. Very, very good for them. And
you think about all the great offensive linemen they've had: Travis Frederick, Ricky Warner, Joe Thomas. They've just had a bunch of them, and he's just like the latest in the long line. I had him too. I really thought about taking Creed Humphrey from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I was this close. But they're both great players, and that's who I went with as well.
Yeah.
All right, our defensive team. We're going to start with the 2 edge players we have, or I should say the 1 edge player we have, because I know for sure who one of them is going to be.
Obviously, Chase Young.
Chase Young, Ohio State, what needs to be said. The entire package: size, speed, production, relentlessness. Just in a normal year without quarterbacks, he'd be number 1 overall pick. Now, we maybe have disagreement on the second edge guy. Who do you have?
I have James Lynch from Baylor. He's had a really, really productive year this year, 12.5 sacks. He did actually good against Oklahoma, and that's a big factor for me, is doing big in the big game, right? When it's on the line, how Denzel Mims from Baylor, great wide receiver, wouldn't have made the team anyway, but he got shut down against Oklahoma. You were talking about that. He didn't do anything.
He's talking about in the Big 12 championship game when the conference championship's on the line, what they do. Meanwhile, how did our boy C.D. Lamb do in that game?
C.D. Lamb did great.
Blew up. Now, the Oklahoma corner is probably better than the Baylor corner, but Mims has been good all year. Not in that game. They shut him down. That is, not a great sign. Yeah. Okay.
Who's your other edge?
Okay, well, my edge is A.J. Epinenza from Iowa. I just like him. He's big. He's got a lot of size. He still gets pressure. They had a bunch of good defensive linemen at Iowa last year. Most of them graduated. And he actually didn't see as much playing time because they rotated through. But he played this year, and that dude is a force. I just love how big he is. And he can still get a pass rush. So I'm trying to think guys who are like that. DeMarcus Lawrence, maybe?
Maybe.
Got some size.
Maybe.
Okay.
Chandler Jones?
Yeah, Chandler Jones, something like that. He's actually thicker than Jones. He's just a big boy.
Yeah, Jones is kind of long, lengthy.
And he is too, yeah. Okay, defensive tackle. Again, I think this is one of these where it's going to be very easy to pick one. The first one, Derek Brown, Auburn. Love him. We talked about him so much. Might be my favorite player in the country because he hustles.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do that table slap counter again. But smart ass. But you just love seeing effort from a big guy. And consistent effort, late in games, the athleticism. I don't know what I said all I could say about him. You have anything to add with him?
Jake Fromm said the exact same thing.
Yeah.
They had an interview. They're like, how'd you deal with the Auburn defensive line after the Auburn game? And he said they were really relentless. Like, that's the thing that he talked about from being on the field. It was a personal firsthand account that they just don't quit. Even in fourth quarter, down, whatever, they just keep going after it.
And he talked about all them guys, Marlon Davidson and all those guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Your other defensive tackle?
Okay. This is a guy I actually didn't know about, really, until the championship games happened. And I'm going to butcher this name. Lakai Fotu? Definitely not how you say it. From Utah.
Yeah.
Showed out against Oregon. Did very, very well against them. He had a couple tackles for loss.
Yeah.
Hustles. Another big guy. He blew up a screen from opposite defensive tackle. He was on the left-hand side of the line. Came over on the right and made a really good tackle. He just had some good splash plays in that game. And after some good research, he has a lot of those splash plays. Big games, big times, big player, big man.
They've had a lot of defensive lineman out of the program. Charlotte Tuile was a first-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
So, who did you pick for edge besides Chase Young?
I picked James Lynch.
Okay, I'm going to cheat. Because this dude plays the 5 technique. He's barely defined as an edge player, but he plays the 5 technique in that 3-4. That's like a defensive tackle. I'm going to go with him as my other defensive tackle because I can, and I'm going to cheat. Lynch. I just love him that way because inside, at the next level, he's going to play a 5 technique, or he's going to go inside and maybe play the 1. And this is, you kind of see it, right? I like him so much. His productivity. Hard to get that many sacks, that many tackles for loss, be disruptive at that position. So I tend to like bigger players, obviously, at least this year. They just kind of caught my eye.
Yeah.
And he's, okay. All right, let's talk about linebackers. This is the off-ball backers. These are the ones who are not the edge rushers like the kid from Wisconsin who's really good or, generally they're playing in the middle, not always. All right. You want me to go first?
You go first.
All right. You're going to have some All-American teams that don't have Evan Weaver on them. They don't know what the they're talking about.
Hey.
This guy is, you're going to beep it anyway. This guy is okay, let me do it again. This guy's a animal. Every time you see him, he just makes, I think he leads the country in tackles by like 30 more than his near competition.
He has like 171 tackles.
Yeah, and he's doing this last year. And I like Kenneth Murray from Oklahoma, but that dude, for example, he's not on our team. He's not on my team anyway. For me, he makes a ton of tackles. He doesn't make as many big plays. Not only do you see Weaver make a ton of tackles, he's always disruptive. His tackles come, they're stopping you run a short on a short yardage play, making a tackle for loss. Ask Jacob East about him. He's going to have nightmares about this guy. And I don't as an impact on a game, he doesn't get the pub. I'm sorry. This dude has every bit the impact on his team that Chase Young had for his defense. I love this guy. So is Weaver on your team?
He's my number 1. Mm-hmm.
He's your number 1. Okay, my number 2, I like Isaiah Simmons from Clemson.
Same here.
Different kind of guy than Weaver. Kind of really a great athlete, former safety.
Yeah.
A recruiting war for a lot of people wanted this kid.
Big, traitsy guy. Weaver's big, but he's more of an intellectual player, right? He plays with his mind. He's got the Luke Kuechly play style where he knows where you're going with the ball before you do.
And so does Simmons, just that Weaver's like a level above. Right.
Simmons is just very, very athletic. He's like 6'4", 230 at linebacker position. And he's just fast and big and just super athletic. Sky's the limit.
Yeah, he's again going to be an early round pick. Weaver, not so much. Wouldn't surprise me if Weaver just blew up in the NFL. He really kind of reminds me of Sam Mills. Sam Mills was like this, the old Carolina Saints linebacker. Because Sam Mills is about 5'8".
Yeah.
Undrafted.
Here's a dangerous comparison because this guy didn't work out.
Wait, let me guess. You're going to say, can I just guess?
Yes.
Scooby Wright?
Yes, from Arizona State. Arizona.
Wildcat.
Played from Arizona. He was very similar. Played in the Pac-12. A lot of tackles. Very, very high production.
And a lot of tackles for loss.
He went in like the 5th or 6th round.
I think 7th.
Never worked out.
Never. He still bounced around the league.
But never really found his footing. Never really,
Yeah, Evan Weaver reminds me of just like a much, much better Ben Boulware.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Who's your third linebacker? Because it might be different from mine.
It's definitely different from yours.
Okay.
Mine's Kenneth Murray from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
The guy you were just bashing.
Right.
He said he doesn't make a lot of splash
He's
plays.
empty calories. He's an empty calories linebacker.
Against Baylor, he had 8 tackles. He had a huge tackle for loss. Yeah. I argue he did have some big plays in that game.
Okay.
I'm
not saying he makes none. I'm just saying compared to Evan Weaver, nobody does. All right.
Yeah, but I think he's a good linebacker. It could just be he's a good linebacker on an average defense. That tackles just kind of get funneled to him, kind of like Paul Posnelli in the NFL for the Jaguars for a long time. He was like an above-average linebacker on a bad defense, and no one could tackle, so he just racked up tackles.
Nobody got more tackles after 5-yard gains than Paul Posnelli.
Yeah, right. So it could be that kind of situation.
Except James Laurinaitis.
But he does have a lot of production, and I do think he deserves a spot in the team.
Yeah, I have Jordan Brooks out of Texas Tech. Again, he's kind of similar to Simmons. Athletic, and that dude specializes living in the backfield. I think he has like 20 tackles for loss. And when you watch the game, you can see it. You can see his movement skills, how athletic he is, and how effortlessly he moves on the football field. Okay, we're going to talk about our safeties before we do our corners. I got a feeling this is one, again, we're going to have one similar player. Am I right?
Yep.
Who is it?
Grant Delpit.
I kind of thought so. Face some injuries later on in the year, but He's most of the year before he was injury free, he played at a high level. Another one of these studs in the LSU secondary, just all the time. And we might be a little different on here. Who is your other safety?
I have Xavier McKinney from Alabama.
He's a great one. Yeah.
He's not like super high in terms of stats, but he's a bunch of big plays. Tennessee was in that game against Alabama, and they were driving to make it a one-score game or to tie or something.
Right.
They were at like the 1-yard line. The ball fumbles. He picks it up 99 yards to the house.
Yeah.
And the very next game, I forget who they were
Wait,
playing.
you sure it's not Trevon Diggs, the corner?
I'm pretty sure it was Xavier McKinney.
Okay.
But he had another
So wait, you gonna do a little correction at the bottom of the screen when you make a mistake? Right?
What?
When you make a mistake, you can do a little correction at the bottom of the screen,
No.
like it was Trevon Diggs.
No.
Good editing.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm the
Smart
editor.
ass.
You don't understand. See? I can cover up all of my own
Yeah,
mistakes.
people want an accurate
And
YouTube channel.
expose
Okay,
yours.
right. That's what people want.
Garantano tried to get there, and the ball comes out.
Xavier McKinney.
Running down the sideline.
Xavier McKinney.
Nobody's going to catch him. There are no...
All right, go ahead. No, he's a great player. It might not have been him on that. I could have swore it was Diggs on that play, but he'll look it up and not correct it. Go ahead.
See, people are too lazy to look it up for themselves.
Yeah.
So
okay.
if
Anyway,
I don't
we'll
put it
get
in
on
there-
a tangent. Let's get going. Okay. I love Antoine Winfield out of Minnesota.
Yeah.
That dude makes a lot of plays when you need him. A playmaker type. And I remember his dad. You don't remember his dad. His dad was like a 5'9" corner who was a monster against the run, and this carried over to the NFL. He would lead the team in tackles. A lot of teams he was on. His best run defense corner I've ever seen. His dad taught him how to tackle. He made a lot of plays. Ohio State. They're loading the secondary. They still could have used this guy. Antoine, they're 13-0 actually. Yeah, they'd be 13-0 if they had it, right?
Wow.
Okay, so my bad. But
They'd be winning every game by 10 points.
right. But Winfield is a great player and gets it. Maybe I don't know where he gets. He gets it from himself.
Yeah.
You have to work to be this good. I want to give him credit. He just makes a ton of plays whenever you watch the Gophers. Okay, we're gonna do 3 corners.
3 corners. That's all I have.
All right. So this is kind of remarkable because I got a feeling I know already who one corner we're gonna. I say this, and maybe it's because, we're watching the same games together most of the time, and we kind of maybe have thoughts that are too similar. But I got a feeling I know who your first corner is gonna be.
My first corner. Okay.
Yeah. It's gonna be Stingley.
Nope.
Is he on your team?
No.
Derek Stingley's not on your first.
No, he's not.
He make your 3 corners.
No, he didn't.
Okay, so he's an idiot. Go ahead.
I am a bit of an idiot.
Yeah.
I'll admit that.
The dude's how do you not have Derek
very,
Stingley on your team?
Very good. He's very good. But there are a lot of good corners. And
Okay, I take it all back. We're not. At least we don't think the same way. I mean, he's
No.
wrong, but go ahead.
no.
Name
My
me
first-
3 better corners in America than Derek Stingley.
My first is Jeff Okudah from Ohio State.
Better Stingley?
Yeah.
He ain't better
Oh, yeah.
Stingley.
Oh yeah. Michigan.
Oh.
He played great against Michigan.
I told you not to do drugs. I mean, what? Your whole life. What is this? Okay.
He's taken away a lot of great wide receivers this year.
Okudah's great. He's a great player.
A great
That's true.
corner.
Yeah.
And Stingley got burned against Alabama twice deep. The best wide receivers he played cooked him, and Jeff Okudah hasn't been burned by anyone all year, facing pretty good wide receivers. Hamler from Penn State.
Hold on. How many times Stingley been burned beside Alabama? We were at the Alabama game, so we saw this. How many times have he been burned beside Alabama? How many guys have burned him beside
I
that?
didn't say that. I'm just saying
And who's the guy who burned him?
twice.
What's
Do
that guy?
you not learn to give him cushion? Do you not learn after the first time? Actually, 3 times. Because one time
We're
it
talking
was-
about Devontae Smith from Alabama did a number on him.
give him 12 yards of cushion.
The guy runs a 4.26. I mean, the
They
guy's
give him 15 yards of cushion.
Okay.
The last play of the game, you know what's coming. He's
Yeah.
already done this to you twice earlier in the game, and on Alabama's last offensive play, he does it a 3rd time to him.
That's right. Okay. Okay, so your corners are who? Hold on.
Jeff Okudah.
Okudah's 1. Yeah.
2, I have Lavert Hill from Michigan.
Yep.
Great lockdown corner.
Yes.
1-on-1, underrated guy, but he is great. He is shut down one side of the field. Michigan runs a lot of that press man, where
Yep,
they
yep.
leave their corners on islands,
Yep.
and people don't pick on him. Even this year and last year versus Ohio State, where Michigan got creamed, they weren't throwing at him.
No.
It was all against the second
No.
and third corner.
This year they just ran the ball. They didn't have to throw.
Yeah.
Last year, they put 62 points on Michigan. If you look, they didn't throw at him or at David Long, who's the other corner. They didn't have to. They found other isolation matchups, but they avoided him for 2 years in a row. And that's a good call with Lavert Hill. He's a really good player. Okay. Your third guy?
My third corner is C.J. Henderson from Florida.
It's a good pick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big.
Good corner.
Tradesy, prototype NFL corner.
Gonna go first round.
Gonna go first round for sure. Okay. My three corners are C.J. Henderson from Florida.
Okay.
I had him as well. My second guy is Christian Fulton from LSU.
The other LSU guy.
And I have Derek Stingley from LSU. I have two LSU corners on my team and Delpit, so almost the whole secondary.
Yeah.
I will say this. Stingley, if you notice, he got a couple of picks on Jake Fromm. They were trying to go after him. They were picking on him. Alabama picked on him with success at times. It wasn't always. Georgia picked on him with no success. What does that tell you? They're not even throwing Christian Fulton. They're giving Christian Fulton a lot of respect. This dude is a really good corner.
They're giving him a lot of respect because the thing about Stingley is he is an interception master.
Yeah.
He turns his head better than a lot of veteran corners in the NFL as a rookie. He turns his head very well as soon as that ball comes out. Corners, a lot of times, they panic.
Yeah.
Right? They see the wide receiver turn their head, and they just kind of like, they don't know what to do. They can be right there, and the wide receiver still catches it. But he turns his head every time, and he goes for the ball.
Because he's confident. That dude is confident. And Stingley is, to me, he's remarkable because this guy is a true freshman. He's the only freshman on you don't have any. He's the only freshman on my team. And it's hard for a true freshman to be an All-American. And we're just a couple of guys on the YouTube channel. But you're going to see USA Today or Sports Illustrated, or they're going to have theirs, and he's going to be on these teams because this dude is special. And next year, they say he's going to play offense as well. He's going to be a Heisman candidate. He's going to be a Heisman candidate next year because he's going to try to do – I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to be the next Charles Woodson. And I love Christian Fulton, but that dude's not built like Stingley. Stingley's built like Woodson. Now, let's pump the brakes and say anybody can never be the greatest defensive back of all time, which Charles Woodson was in college. But, Stingley's dominant. Stingley's awesome. Aside from a couple of roastings by Devontae Smith, which is forgivable, he is a great player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great corner.
All right. When it comes to return specialist, we may have the same player, I think. You have?
Jalen Waddle.
Oklahoma, also a receiver. So many weapons on the Alabama
team. Did you say
team.
Oklahoma? Alabama.
I might have obviously misspoke. Jalen Waddle, one of the big four at Oklahoma. We talked about this too. On a side note, you imagine when they have a 5 wide receiver set at Alabama. I was thinking about this. What's that fifth receiver saying? Okay, you're not throwing me the ball. Why am I out here?
He probably gets in the field yes, finally. Oh my God, it's my time. Oh, I get a catch.
And then you hear the crickets chirp. He's like, I'm open. I got Judy. I got Devontae.
He's open by 15 yards because the entire secondary is guarding everyone else.
Right.
They still just don't throw it to him.
No. Okay. And for all-purpose, your all-purpose player is?
Lynn Bowden. Made a joke about it earlier. Wide receiver turned quarterback in Kentucky.
Yeah, they're out of quarterbacks.
Come on.
And it's let's put you at Wildcat and start beating SEC teams.
Who's the coach for Kentucky again?
And they did. Stoops. He's one of the 18 Stoops.
Yeah, he needs to move up somewhere.
That's
just great coaching.
There's rumors he's going to go to Florida State. That's probably just a contract extension rumor. We're getting off track. I have Kenneth Gainwell from Memphis. I got to stop doing that. I just love what a balanced skill set he has. This guy is a great runner, but he's a real weapon in the passing game. And Memphis seems to find a lot of these guys. The Tony Pollards of the world we talked about. They just kind of have these guys coming through here. And, Gainwell from the first game against Ole Miss this year, you can see that they had a player.
Thank you for watching this episode of Our Sport. From me and my father, we'd like to say thank you for watching. For those consistent viewers, thank you for tuning in every week. The like button's down there if you like this video. The subscribe button if you want to stay tuned for more weekly content. The notifications bell so that you see when we upload. If you have a team and you want us to talk about it, leave a comment down below. All of our social media platforms will be in the description. Thank you for watching.